Good evening, everybody. As is sort of becoming not always the case on a Monday, but I had quite a bit of running around to do. So we are now back with Crusader Kings 2. Unlike, I guess, last week, this DLC has now been fully loaded. Oh my goodness, it's telling me I should go to bed now. Yeah, so the one challenge is that I may not have a whole lot of time to play this. It is worth mentioning I was playing an earlier version of it, so this save may not necessarily cross over, but we'll do the best that we can. What I will try and do, so if I'm not able to, if I'm not really able to get a lot of the playthrough done, I will try and make it up. A quick, maybe word in terms of what I'm going to be doing as far as plans. I have an exam, a French exam, on Wednesday morning, and it's the end of the fiscal year. I'm going to be going off onto how you doing, Pthrum? Shane Fit, thank you very much for that auto host. And it's the end of the fiscal year. I'm going to be going on a training course, which will actually knock off a couple of weeks in terms of getting all my stuff done for the end of the year. Rambler 146, thank you for that auto host as well. So what this means is that I'm actually going to be having a lot of kind of pressure on work. Now, I mean, obviously work is work. Those have fixed hours. But especially for doing things like prepping the exam and such, inevitably I'm going to be spending some time working on that, myself. So, I'm curious. I think I forgot to load some DLC, so let me just double check something here. Sorry for the somewhat abrupt exit from the game. I do want to make sure that I'm actually playing the... Oh, yep, we're good. I think I was maybe just paranoid. Oh, don't do this to me. All right, let's try this again. Anyways, so all of this is a long way of saying that I know I'm late starting Crusader Kings 2 tonight. If I'll try and do a good stream of it. Obviously, I like playing this game. Why? Sorry, OBS isn't allowing me to bring in CK2 anymore. Huh. All right. One more try. Okay, anyways, so assuming that I get this thing going tonight, it'll probably be a shorter game, and what we will do is we'll make it up later on in the week. It may even be on the weekend, but as always, I mean, Mondays are paradox days. I think it's probably better to get an hour or 2 hours of gameplay in than none. So we'll do the best with what we have. And Cringy Cat, thank you very much for that auto host. So Pthrum T Clark, we've got you here. Twitch is never really good at telling me who is in chat, but we'll do our best. So for those of you, OBS is being a little punk tonight. If it was giving Pthrum issues too with a couple games. Oh, what were you playing tonight, by the way, Pthrum? Sounds like more than one game, but... for those of you who don't recall, we were playing the Bishopric of Metz. Well, not just the bit. Obviously, you can't play a bishop, but we were Metz. Now, this actually turned out to be the county of Metz. Jesse Quill, how are you doing? One challenge that I found is this is actually the one with the smallest levies compared to neighbors. This is actually a very difficult start. What we decided to do here with Monks and Mystics, seeing as we found out that there was Satanism, we thought a fun way of doing these mechanics would be to try and corrupt the Holy Roman Empire, in addition to sort of the goal that we normally have of trying to achieve quite a bit of power. But as you can see, we started off with a very difficult start, and it seems to have only gotten harder. We've also been sort of outed as a we've been outed as a member of Lucifer. I believe it's Lucifer's own. Yes. So we've been moving up in the the secret society, but whether or not this character is going to last very long, I don't know. I think we actually finished with an orgy, so we've got the Satiric Blessing. We did use Demonic Healing to cure myself of the Great Pox, which was nice. Unfortunately, I am a known Satanist. Vicious rumors, which make sense. Yes, and apparently I'm highly suspicious, given that I am a known Satanist. Excellent. Oh, that's really cool, Pthrum. And yeah, it's hey, Jeff DeHef. Yes, it's a very late stream, but we will do our best. In fact, I was gonna say almost certainly on GOG, because I noticed that both of those games were bought very recently. So Pthrum, I think I have you to thank for that. I really do appreciate it. So, like I said, we were going to try and convert the Holy Roman Empire. Whether or not we actually succeed in this, I don't know. But we'll do our best. Now, maybe it's worth mentioning as well, there are a couple of things that... so, the game was kind of under embargo at the time. Oh god, everybody hates me. This is probably the Satanism thing. Yeah. -50 for known Satanist, because apparently that's a thing. I don't believe this man is long for this world. But, you know what? We'll go out swinging. We'll actually put... seeing as everybody already hates me, I'm actually going to put the best in each position. And we'll just learn to live with the consequences. Like I said, the game was under, the DLC was under embargo, so Paradox is very nice to give me a kind of an earlier copy of the game, which we were able to do a preview for everybody. But it did mean, for things like reviews and such, you really shouldn't be doing those when they're under embargo. So I don't really do reviews anyway, but for those of you who are maybe curious about the DLC, here's what I think kind of the claim to fame on this DLC is, and what I think the main reason for wanting to get it. Johnny Big Time, thank you very much for that host. I thought you might have been hosting somebody else after your cast, but we'll be doing some shout-outs in a little bit, guys. But I'll give you the brass tacks on Monks and Mystics. So obviously, I think most of you guys have probably made your decisions in terms of whether or not you want to make the purchase. But what I think the societies and what some of the changes to the council screen does is they deal with sort of the weight. So one of the things, especially if you're a count in this game, is you're going to be spending a lot of time waiting for things to happen. Your casus belli to generate, or, you know, build up enough of an army or save enough money to be able to send the army off, or any of these given things. So one of the things that I think Monks and Mystics does very well. So first of all, the Secret Society gives you things to do in between. And it's kind of neat. I mean, it has its own sort of ranking thing here. So if I can become a high priest, that'll be fantastic. I think I have enough to request. No, I need 2,000. So I'll maybe recruit a couple more people, and we'll have enough to become a high priest, assuming that I don't wind up killed beforehand. But in addition to, say, in addition to the society's panel, you've now got sort of the fourth job for your counselors. So the statecraft, organize the army, administer realm, scheme has changed, and hunt apostates. All of these things are sort of, I don't really know what to do with my counselor, and so I'm going to make them do this kind of options. So I think it's a good touch. I realize now, having received a copy of something from the wait, is this my liege? Yes. And what does the heir think of me? Well, its heir doesn't think it that badly of me, so I think we will actually take him on that way. So I have not had a DLC which I haven't enjoyed from Crusader Kings. Now, it's worth mentioning I did not get Sunset Invasion, nor do I ever intend to get Sunset Invasion. So I've also been selected, but it's the only DLC that I don't have. In fact, I was hoping that we'd have some new music for you, but doesn't seem to be the case. Maybe it'll come up a little bit later. But basically, even Conclave I really enjoyed. So I sort of get that I'm going to be very enthusiastic about any given DLC that I recommend to you, and as a result, that might color the recommendations. And so what I would say here, the biggest reason why you would want to pick up Monks and Mystics would be sort of the same reasons why you'd be interested in Way of Life. Way of Life adds a lot more color to sort of how you spend these these sort of intermediate periods of time. Right, you can. Right now, I'm following the seduction focus. I suppose I technically don't need to do that. Maybe I can just switch to straight up intrigue. And well, I'm still 32. I can still ride everything to. No, actually, I think it would make sense to switch to full on intrigue because it's a little bit better for my. Actually, no, because I also still get the maidservant lover. So no, I think I'll actually keep with seduction. But yeah, anyway, so the same way that, you've now got all of these sort of different story paths and such to go down with Way of Life, the secret societies give you something to sort of work on as well. And I mean, they do kind of give you powers, so you might maybe want to make a decision in terms of whether or not you want the supernatural to be allowed inside of your game. But in general, I think it's a lot of fun to play this, and I'm certainly I don't know, I'm certainly enjoying the experience of being a bad guy. So with that in mind, we will move on with the playthrough. So I think I'm going to continue on with the assassination attempt on my liege. He's stronger than me. Johnny Big Time, how you doing? I had a lot of fun watching your Battlefield stream, although obviously I wasn't able to get through as much as I was hoping. I had to go and do a bit of laundry. But what did you think? I know I sent you a Discord message, but I might as well ask you now. What did you think of? Oh God. All right. Actually, I think going for Trier is the right call now. The only problem is I think that they still have enough to defend. Oh yeah, here is the new music. Yeah, so 1320, whereas I'm sitting on... Yeah, I don't have enough for that. All right, you know what? We'll hire mercenaries if it comes right down to it. I need to make some action happen. It was really fun. The stealth stuff kind of sucked, but once you got the lures and such, it was pretty fun. Yeah, I mean, so the one thing for me about Battlefield 1 was, I think, that part, and then I think there's a component in the Gallipoli campaign, and it's like Battlefield 3 when I played it. Like, there's a couple of points which on hard difficulty are just, like, beyond difficult. Like, I don't think they spent the time sort of balancing everything out. And so it makes it, I think, more challenging than it should be, and it actually becomes potentially not very fun in some ways when that sort of stuff happens. But and yeah, the game is definitely it has some pretty heavy subject matter. But do you kind of see what I'm talking about when I say that? Like, one of the things I like about the missions are that they're sort of these self-contained, short stories, which are a lot of fun. All right, let's see if we can recruit. The son was born to Count Fulmar of Metz and Carlotta, named Hartmann. I think what we'll do here is within my... what does my wife think of me? Well, she already hates me, so we'll acknowledge him. Hell, I could legitimize him, but yeah, I really do think that the best way to think about the game is as kind of a series of short stories, in addition to like being a really good shooter. Yeah, all that I'm going to do here is just quickly take... I'm going to take a quick look and see if I can recruit anybody else. We're kind of on borrowed time at this point. I believe it's illegal to be a Satanist. Seduce her. Fate smiles upon me. My wife Maud is pregnant. Yeah, I saw that, Johnny Big Time. I was happy to see that. All right, looks like we've already approached everybody in my court. All right, out of my vassals. Same story, I think. But we can seduce Ragna. She'll bring all my seduction skills to bear on Ragna until I have her wrapped around my little finger. How you doing, Cabal Triple X? Alright, what we're going to do here is I'm actually going to go within the realm, and we are going to try recruiting on the basis of rank. One thing I'm trying to do here, as I'm going through some of these more kind of more menu-intensive parts, I'm trying to keep the timer going by. Alright, so we'll find out if Duke Gottfried IV lusts for the power of the occult. If so, you may offer him the embrace of the true lord. Alright, well, I'm glad I'm a good option when you don't have sleep. Some carefully placed words are where they can easily be overheard by notorious gossips can be more effective than a love letter, or so I thought, but my quarry Ragna has not responded in any way. I need another tactic, and I plan my next move. Meeting with Duke Gottfried IV, I made sure to only cautiously question the absolute power of his almighty god. Thankfully, it seems my carefully chosen words had the desired effect on him. From his glittering eyes, I got a distinct impression that he enjoyed the philosophical aspect of our conversation. A sensible man, Gottfried. I've arranged a run-in with Duke Gottfried IV on the palisades of his castle today. His face darkens when I attempt to discuss my world views. I then offer him my favorite protection spell, a chicken leg in a leather pouch. I thought it was harmless enough, but he refuses to accept the gift. This has been a wasted effort. Gottfried is locked in his views. So we failed to recruit. So, next one. Another Duke. Ripped pillows, broken furniture, shattered vases. My marriage to Maud has devolved into an unending torment of bitter arguments and fiery rows. I would be depressed, but my lovess, Duchess Matilda, suggested that we retire to the countryside for a few carefree days of romance and passion. 50% chance I lose the trait stress and gain the comforted by a lover. No, let's be together right here under Maud's nose. Loses the trait stress. Count Fulmar gains the thrill of illicit love, giving the follow effects for intrigue, diplomacy, and health, and risk discovery by Maud. And I wish, but I can't risk it. Nah, screw it. Ask her to join. No time for hyperactive stuff. Chill out streams are the best, and I and Simcopter One are the best rounds this time. I'm glad to hear it. But yeah, so what we're doing right now, this is actually not a bad example of some of the ways that we are taking advantage of some of the new mechanics of Monks and Mystics, which is we're waiting. I am going to make an effort on taking this on Trier. I think I can afford the mercenaries to tip the balance, and we'll see if we can at least add a second title to our realm. So, meeting with Duke Heinrich the Ninth, I made sure to only cautiously question the absolute power of His Almighty God. Regretfully, it seems that my words only irritated my acquaintance. From the steely look that he gave me, I should probably steer clear of him for now. Disappointing. So, Alberto, will you join Satan? Alright, I understand, Johnny. So guys, I will take a minute here. Let's get the shout-outs out of the way. Johnny Big Time is a fantastic variety caster. I think a lot of you guys already know him. I'll make it a brief shout-out because I know I don't have a lot of time myself for the cast tonight. But he's been doing Battlefield 1 lately. He just got an upgrade to his computer, and he's got a lineup that I am extremely excited by. He's currently doing Battlefield 1, which I had a lot of fun doing, and actually we're going to do something special for Anzac Day. When is Anzac Day? Well, you'll just have to find out. But on top of that, he's done Conan Exiles. We're actually looking to see, and Jesse Quill might be surprised to hear this, we're actually seeing if we can get maybe him, Jesse Quill, and Dynamite into a game together, so that you can all see the Swinging Dong Simulator 2000. What was the other one? Oh yeah, he's going to be doing Doom. Now, the processor didn't actually do a whole lot for his Doom playthrough, but again, I got a chance to talk with him a little bit about what he wanted, and it seems like he wound up with a processor that he was looking for. So, as a result, I mean, he's already an absolutely outstanding caster. You've seen the clips, you've seen him in chat, you know how much I love watching his cast. None of that has changed, but now he's able to... It's a little bit like when I went onto the new gaming PC. There's just so many more opportunities to do more stuff. Who knows, maybe I'll even start playing Crusader Kings 2, and he won't have to worry about, you know, a large Byzantine empire trying to castrate each other. But anyways, have a great night, Johnny. I hope the blizzard doesn't cause too much trouble for you, and I'm looking forward to seeing your next cast. I actually really want to see you go through the other adventures. So, not to be outdone, let's also give a quick shout out to Jessie Quill. I don't know if she is active in the chat right now, so I'll shout her out right now. She was just at PAX, but did another one of her wonderful creative casts where she is building up a bunch of cards for her viewers. Very dear friend of mine, somebody who I love chatting with on and off cast. If you guys sort of like maybe the historical take or some of the economics and things like that, I think you'll really enjoy her cast because her background is in psychology, and she brings a lot of that to bear either on the stories that she plays or in general interactions with the chat. She's an incredibly thoughtful person, as well as just having kind of a natural ability to entertain. She was actually on a panel in PAX about mental health issues, and she definitely was a highlight on it. She definitely stood out amongst the panelists, so she did an excellent job. Who else? Pithram, I think you said you were doing Deus Ex and Thief, but I don't know your schedule. If you would like, feel free to let us know when you'll be streaming next. And actually, if anybody else is a streamer in chat right now, Jess and Johnny I kind of know cast somewhat regularly, or I'm going to be like hosting them fairly regularly because they're high up on the fairly high up on my list. But I know there's a few other casters in chat right now who don't always get the extended shout outs, so I should maybe open the floor while I continue through with the playthrough. And I'm sorry for doing that. I do kind of want to be the one to do these shout outs, but I'm really pressed for time, so I arranged for a scented love letter to be left on Ragna's pillow in an attempt to woo her, and it seems to have struck true, for she has left one on mine, confessing her attraction to me. Oh ho! Time to up the ante. A large merchant caravan from distant lands has arrived at the gates of your stronghold. The leader, a jovial man of massive girth, pleads with you in a strange accent to grant them shelter from the elements for the night. Very well, let them in. My meeting with Duke Alberto Azzo II, I made sure to only cautiously question the absolute power of his almighty god. Regretfully, it seems as if my words only irritated my acquaintance. From the steely look that he finally gave me, I should probably steer clear of him for now. Alright, another failed recruitment? But Bertold. As evening falls, the fat merchant sits by the fire and regales you and the rest of the court with stories of his travels. His appetite seems insatiable, but you do not wish to prove a poor host. You order your servants to bring in a second serving. Tell us more about this mythical realm of Hindustan. Dawn breaks and the caravan prepares to move on. The merchant insists on leaving you a gift and as thanks for the great hospitality. He shouts a terse command in a foreign language. A young man comes forward. This eunuch will serve you well, the merchant says. His loyalty to you, his new master, shall be beyond reproach. This is very kind. I accept your gift. Alright, so we've got a eunuch. Let's just take a quick second here. I believe there's a court position that I can fill. Oh yeah, we don't have eunuchs in the Holy Roman Empire. My bad. And he's also not a better steward. So, not too much of what I needed going on there. If you guys are noticing, there's some new music in the background. Oh, my meeting with Dirk Berthold also did not generate the desired effect. So I don't believe you can recruit children, which is a shame. Ulrich? Satan. I do have Reaper's Dew installed, Maticus Ray. We've actually, we had to deal with a couple of plagues already. I sent Ragna a beautiful necklace and covered her room with wildflowers, but I've heard nothing back from her. Could have been worse. Plan the next move. You know what? I bought 3 new music packs, guys, so I don't know which one this is from. Alright. Duke Ulrich disappoints me. Aratu! Will you join the Satanists? I arranged for a scented love letter to be left on Ragna's pillow in an attempt to woo her. Today I found the answering missive in the privy. It did not smell of roses. A temporary setback. Alright, Aratu was certainly quite quick to Alright, so it looks like once Dirk comes out of hiding, we might be able to recruit him. I think that's my vassal, my liege, so... But Duke Pierre, will you join Satan? Ah, meeting with Duke Pierre, I made sure to only cautiously question the absolute power of his almighty god. Thankfully, it seems that my carefully chosen words had the desired effect on him. From his glittering eyes, I got the distinct impression that he enjoyed the philosophical aspect of our conversation. Sensible man, Pierre. Ah, but it didn't work on phase 2. So I'm wondering if this is because my relationships with people aren't very strong. Alright, wasted effort. Because we're definitely much less successful than we used to be now that I'm a known Satanist. Interesting. So I've got a weak claim. Yeah, guy's way too strong. Aribo, did not like me questioning his god. Hartman, will you join Satan? Temporary setback. I'm losing my touch on everything. But like I said, right now we're just kind of going through the lists because we're still waiting. Obviously, we decided to go from account, which inevitably means that we're going to be waiting for a while. And in a particular situation like this, you know, it doesn't hurt to just keep going through the motions. All right, Duke Hugo didn't like it. I'm gonna guess Duke Bertrand won't be available because he's in hiding. Yes. I think Conrad's already one of us. Wait a minute. Conrad of Luxembourg. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. I'm kind of curious, actually. So it looks like you actually do get a negative if you're a known Satanist, even if these other guys are Satanists as well, which is a little odd, though it could be that maybe it's just because you're... it could be just because you're... you know, you've let the cat out of the bag. Alright, I sent Ragna a beautiful necklace and had her room covered with wildflowers. The gambit seems to have paid off, for I found a magnificent new saddle with her embossed seal in the stables today. Pretty clear symbolism, I'd say. Start planning the next move. The son was born to Count Fulmar of Metz and Countess Maud of Metz, named Radbot. Well, we are certainly not wanting for children. Kuno, will you join Satan? Some carefully placed words where they can be easily overheard by notorious gossips can be more effective than a love letter. Ragna must have gotten the message, for I found a lock of hair wrapped in silk with her personal seal in my chambers today. Ha! I shall have her. Kuno was not impressed. Manfredo. I arranged for a scented love letter to be left on Ragna's pillow in an attempt to woo her, and it seems to have struck true, for she has left one on mine, confessing her attraction to me. Time to up the ante. Manfredo didn't bite. It might be interesting to... GV Wolf, how are you doing, my friend? Good to see you as always. So we are trying to recruit people for Satan. Let's just take a quick look if I can go for opinions. So Carlotta, I already tried. Oh yeah, these are all my lovers, so I've already, I've kind of already tried to recruit these. Take a quick look. Aldrich. So I'm going to just make an effort to see if I can try and recruit somebody who doesn't have such a negative opinion of me. Oh, he's dead. I don't know why it's listing dead people. Oh, they're all dead. Why are you listing dead people? How did the Denmark run end up? Well, Cabal, you lurk more often. Well, it is good to have you active in chat, then. Alright, I'm going to assume all these zeros are dead people. Okay, so we'll see what a -3 gives me. So GV Wolf, I don't know how often you get to see me do Crusader Kings playthroughs, but they actually just released a new DLC called Monks and Mystics. So in this case, we are doing sort of a slightly more character-based one where we're attempting to corrupt the Holy Roman Empire. Now, one of the drawbacks is that we've been outed as a Satanist, and so this causes a lot of people to dislike us. But we're doing our best, and we're learning the mechanics a little bit. There's a wiki that's available for this stuff, so obviously I can take a look and see what's going on in there. But I think a lot of the fun in Crusader Kings is just getting yourself in situations and seeing how all these things go. So this way I said you click back on your phone. So the playthrough ended when Monks and Mystics came out because generally saves are not compatible between patches. But I did save a copy of it so that I can go back to the patch another time. But we were in a fairly strong position. We founded the Empire, but we didn't necessarily kind of just completely stomp the world. All right, upping the ante again. All right, yeah, disappointing. Well, maybe try one more, but seeing as everybody's got a negative opinion of me, it's not entirely obvious that I'm going to be able to pull this off anyway. I suppose there's a question here, do I want to put any upgrades into my my realm? I think this would kind of blow out my budget, so I'll maybe wait a while before I do any of these. All right. That was quick, so we'll do Kuno. I think we already... Nope, no we didn't. We'll try Kuno, the Prince Bishop of Salzburg. You have this game, but you haven't really delved into it, but seeing somebody such as myself play it, it's good to take a back seat and watch. Absolutely, GV Wolf. It's a really good way of... It's definitely a really good way of learning. I did actually learn this game on stream, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the best. So one of the things that I tend to do is I actually tend to I tend to describe my sort of the reasons why I'm doing certain things throughout it. So if you do have any questions, feel free to speak up. I don't necessarily know everything about this this patch. But one of the best ways, for me at least, I learn a lot when I do these Crusader Kings streams because I have to give voice to my thought process. I have to say, this is why I did this thing here, and sort of explain what the long-term plan is. So I'm attending a festive outing with Ragna. Unfortunately, half the court is also here, and so I'm having trouble getting time alone with my amorous quarry. So I could seek an ally amongst her friends, I could leave a note to meet me by the stream, or I could flirt with her discreetly. Now, because she has deceitful, I think I am actually going to do the discreet. Despite never getting a chance to be alone with Ragna, I do believe my winning personality has impressed her. I need a new plan. So hopefully that will boost a little bit. Yep, 77, so we might be able to make a move next time. Alright, so the Prince Bishop was not impressed, so it seems like we're just kind of doomed to not be effective across the board. So let's go back to our list. It was the Grand Mayor who we had failed to bring over. Oh wait, it was Kuno. All right, Otto, will you be recruited for Satan? El Canoe, thank you very much for that host, my friend. It's great to see you here as always. Now, El Canoe, I have to suspect that you own a copy of this, but have you ever played Crusader Kings? And I may not have a lot of time to do Sacre Bleu! Monsieur Canoe. Guys, El Canoe is another deeply valued streamer. I will confess that I'm doing slightly shorter shoutouts right now just because I know I am short on time for streaming Crusader Kings 2 tonight, but please check him out. He's a wonderful caster. I've been watching him mainly for his Dark Souls cast, but he does that once a week. He plays a lot of other fantastic games. I think it's Siberia 2, I think is the name, which was the last clip of his that we showed. He just finished Resident Evil 7. He does Might and Magic. Actually, he does co-op on Might and Magic. I think it's Might and Magic 10. He is a born entertainer. Even if you do not speak French, you only need to watch him for about 5 minutes and you will know that he is one of the best casters that you can watch on any game. He is somebody who I think any developer is lucky to have stream their game because he puts it through its paces. He will show you everything that you want to know about it. Even if the game is not very good, he gives it the most fair treatment I have ever seen of any given game. But, oh, it's not co-op, my bad. There is no co-op, okay. But yeah, Elkanu is an incredible streamer, and he's a great friend of this cast. He has been very generous with his hosts. Even though I am an English-speaking caster, he has not let that get in the way of touting me to his French-speaking audience, and I've always felt extremely welcome in his cast. By the way, guys, this is the new music DLC that came out with Crusader Kings 2, so this is, I believe, Hymns of Revelation. But yeah, thank you very much for doing that, G-Wolf. It is a fantastic decision that you made. He is a very, very talented entertainer, and you only need to watch the clips to see that. So, hope you're doing well tonight, Elkanu. I made sure to attend a minor event in Theonville so I could seduce Ragna. We've been dancing and conversing all night, and she is clearly responding to my advances. Yeah, she's got 100 opinion of me, so meet in my room, milady. I sure know how to cajole women. Ragna and I spent the night making sweet illicit love in her bed. I snuck off in the wee hours, leaving the court clueless. I hope. Next. I am quite well myself, Elkanu. Struggling a little bit on this playthrough because I'm not quite able to, I'm not strong enough to really kind of do any invasions. And I am unpopular enough as a Satanist that I don't seem to be getting any more recruitment done. But that is, I don't know, I think that's some of the fun of it, so. Meeting with Ulderic, I made sure to only cautiously question the absolute power of his almighty god. Thankfully, it seems that my carefully chosen words had the desired effect on him. From his glittering eyes, I got the distinct impression that he enjoyed the philosophical aspect of our conversation. Sensible man, Ulderic. Alright, it's always on the second phase that we lose it, so that might actually be a diplomatic, test. Or it might just be that, you know, I'm having the same lack of success as the other ones. But it used to be that we'd kind of breeze through phase 2, so. Alright, I'm going to assume Bertrand is dead, so. Egbert is not available, so we'll try and get Count Alberto. It seems my dalliance with Carlotta has resulted in a child. Fortunately, Jaromdir thinks Bok is his. Oops. My magnificent cat curled up in its favorite spot by the window last night. I think that now maybe it knew it did not have long left in this world. At least it went peacefully. I can say the funeral will be set in the garden where it loved to play. Whenever you stroll by the rose bushes, you shall remember your cat. My pet cat is removed. Or I shall invite the whole court to celebrate the adventurous life of my cat. Well, I don't want to lose the trait greedy because I believe that gives me points in my... Yeah, that gives me bonus points in my coven, so... Funeral should be set in the garden where my cat allowed to love to play. How sad. Alright, Count Alberto didn't want to jump in, so... Curious. I was as pleased as always when I saw the amount of coin in the coffers this morning, but looking at it now, the amount seems somehow less. Could it be that someone is stealing from me? What's my diplomacy at? I think I'll say when I catch that thieving little rat. Alright. I'm gonna say... Okay, Conrad will be next, and then we'll double back and see if some of these other hiding figures will be ones that we can recruit. So we're gonna slow things down a little bit, and oh, GV Wolf, it's never a distraction. So I'm gonna talk very briefly, GV Wolf, about how I've set up this this realm. So, oh, Conrad didn't bite, so we're gonna take a second here. We're actually gonna scroll up and just see if Alright, so it looks like Dirk's out, so we will try and recruit him. So this is the territory that I hold, Metz. I currently have 1233 maximum in terms of levies. We're still recruiting the remaining amount. My neighbors are actually a bit stronger than me. And then I've got my council sort of divided amongst what I think will be strengthening. So in this case, we're training troops in Mets to increase my my levies. We are collecting taxes in my holdings so I can improve my sort of my treasury. My liege might potentially try to imprison me because I'm very unpopular. He likes me -100, and I believe as a Satanist he might... Hang on. I think I might have actually recruited his wife as a... I can find Duchess Ilsa anywhere. Yep, there she is. She also quite likes me because of the ranking difference. Wait, have I tried to seduce her? Oh god, this will be so... No, wait. That's a guaranteed way to get imprisoned. So, have a good one, Pithram. So one of the things that I've done is I've said, what are the immediate things that I want to do? Well, one, as my sort of internal goal of corrupting the Holy Roman Empire, we're just going through everyone that we can to try and recruit them. I'm also trying to build my own position inside of this this cult. So within... Alright, so I'm actually going to have to nail the High Priest. Oh wow, this is actually going to be tricky. So to actually level up, you can only have one High Priest, which means that not only am I going to have to... Oh wow, this is neat. So not only am I going to have to take out the head, I'm actually going to have to take out the people immediately above me. That's going to be really interesting. Alright, we'll work on that too. So we'll actually add a third goal where I want to become the High Priest myself if I can. So in terms of long-term goals, I'm currently trying to fabricate a claim on this county. I can hold 2 right now for myself. And sort of the idea here is that if I take this territory, this is one of the more weaker defended ones. Also, if I take a look at the de jure duchies, this is part of the Duchy of Lower Lorraine, which this one is as well. So if I start kind of gobbling up components of the Duchy of Lower Lorraine, I might be able to seize that title for myself. So it's a slow way of going because it does take a long time to generate casus belli as with a somewhat weak diplomat who doesn't like me very much. But again, part of this game is just about setting up your plans and getting them, getting your ducks in a row and trying to make things happen. So the ideal approach is one where you you sort of plan a few steps ahead and just watch things sort of roll through. So, oh yeah, I need a new seduction target. You know what? Seduce Ilsa. Yeah, so it looks like I'm pretty consistently failing at phase 2. It could actually be that I'm eliminating the possibility of other people recruiting these guys. So now I'm pretty much locked into recruiting counts. I should bring my seduction skills to bear on Duchess Ilsa until I have her wrapped around my finger. One of the nice things about seducing the wife, of course, is that we'll probably eventually bring her into the plot as well. So right now there's not a lot of people who are on side with this, which means it's going to take it even longer for me to accomplish. Of course, the drawback is I get discovered, so... Alright. Ulrich did not want to join. Rhine out. You look like you like the colors. Some carefully placed words where they can be easily overheard by notorious gossips can be more effective than a love letter. Or so I thought, but my quarry Duchess Ilsa did not respond in any way. I need another tactic. Alright, Raynaud didn't want to join. I'm attending a festive outing with Ilsa. Unfortunately, half the court is also here, and I'm having trouble getting any time alone with my amorous quarry. So she's lustful, but she doesn't like me so much, so let's, flirt with her discreetly, I think. Despite never getting a chance to be alone with Ilsa, I do believe my winning personality has impressed her. Yep, she does have a better opinion of me, so that's continuing as planned. It's worth mentioning here, I'm sitting on this large wealth precisely because I want the option of being able to hire mercenaries to take advantage of the Casus Belli if I get one. Realistically, I don't think that's going to be happening, but we'll do our best. Ilsa has not responded to the love letter I left on her pillow. Won't give up just yet. Alright, Berthold, unsurprisingly, did not join in. Fortunately, it's a big empire. I think the next thing we'll do is to try and corrupt France. I sent Ilsa a beautiful necklace and had her room covered with wildflowers. The gambit seems to have paid off, for I found a magnificent new saddle with her embossed seal in the stables today. Pretty clear symbolism, I'd say. So we're at 52. Lords of Upper Lorraine have approved the institution of the Ruler War Declaration Sovereignty Law. Oh, he's getting a lot more work done than I am. I'm pretty sure anything that I try and pass is going to be dead on arrival. I've got 2, 3, 4 malcontents and one person who's basically going to do anything I want them to, but... Okay, Count Deodo didn't want to do anything. Oh, damn it. I managed to chance upon Ilsa alone in the kitchen where she came down for her usual late snack. We've talked and laughed for hours, and I can tell the attraction is going. Hopefully I've read her correctly. Hoping I've read her correctly, I lean in to whisper to her ear, and obviously with high intrigue and lustful, I make a lewd suggestion. I sure know how to cajole women. Ilsa and I spent the night making sweet, illicit love in her bed. I snuck off in the wee hours, leaving the court clueless, I hope. Let our love grow. Having many lovers is exciting and fulfilling. So much love, so much desire, but so little time. I feel like I'm burning the candle at both ends. I can make this work, or I can break up with... What's Katerina? Disfigured, honest, stubborn, greedy, mystic, renowned physician, intricate web weaver, doesn't have a husband. I mean, no real advantage to keeping her, so... She'll probably be mad at me, but... Okay, Rutger didn't want to join the fun. Let's sort by rank again. Jofred, you're next. It's also been a while since we've had a mission with the Brotherhood. Yeah, No real surprises here. It's a lot of people here who... Alright. It seems my dalliance with Raguna has resulted in a child. Fortunately, Gottfried thinks little Amelie is his. Oops. Alright. Let's try a new tactic. Let's instead go under all. Let's say... So I suspect... Sort by opinion. Again, a lot of these are probably lovers, so they're either already in the cult or... Yeah. Unsurprising that all these dark outfits have a good opinion of me. Alright. So let's see if we can say within diplomatic range, if that changes anything. Alright, so Zoe is not available. So let's try this recruitment. What we might also try next is seduction, and then... Oh! Alright, so Carlotta I've got a kid with, but she's got cancer, the great pox, and is a lunatic. She's club-footed, trusting, chaste, content, just, and diligent, but she also has a low opinion of me. Let's ditch the risk of disease, I think. Meeting with Countess Yuzbea, I made sure to only cautiously question the absolute power of her almighty god. Thankfully, it seems that my carefully chosen words had the desired effect on her. From her glittering eyes, I got the distinct impression that she enjoyed the philosophical aspect of our conversation. Sensible woman, and similar outcome. Oh, and Carlotta died of cancer. Alright. Ripped pillows, broken furniture, shattered vases. My marriage to Maud has devolved into an unending torment of bitter arguments and fiery rows. I would be depressed, but my lover Sophie just suggested that we retire to the countryside for a few days of carefree romance and passion. What a splendid idea. Alright. My brother in darkness, Duke Ordulf of Saxony, was passing by and decided to pay me a surprise visit. He was in a lewd mood and thought that we might stage an impromptu orgy in honor of the devil. What a lovely idea. I will wear my Russian codpiece. Oh god. Let's see what happened here. My memories of the last few days are dreamlike. There was lots of smoke, a cackling old crone, a nubile young woman with a long tail that could do all kinds of things. Oh, and there was a loud midget ordering me and Orloff into various interesting positions. I never realized that I liked men that way. I feel drained. Count Fulmore gains 100 dark power, the trait Frail, and apparently Dietrich von Platzow, my courtier, dies. That's amazing. Alright, well, let's find a new chance. Oh my god. I wonder... I'll try one of each. No, debutante doesn't do much. Nah. Too much hassle. Alright, well, at this point, let's just... They're all malcontent, they're all bad at what they do, so... We will continue the effort to fabricate, but we're not going to hold our breath. Yeah, it's going to be a little tricky, I think, to try and move up on the ranks, but... Greetings, Count Fulmore. Satan has demanded another soul to aid us on our glorious mission. Bewitch Wesleo and make him your loyal servant, willing or not. Please see to this matter at once. Alright. So who is... Alright. Glory to the Deceiver signs. Accept submission demonic possession on Wazilo von Schwendren. To complete this mission, right click on the portrait of Wesleo, select demonic possession, and successfully enthrall him. Ah, meeting with Baroness Kale, I made sure to only cautiously question the absolute power of her almighty god. Thankfully, it seems that my carefully chosen words had the desired effect on her. From her glittering eyes, I got the distinct impression that she enjoyed the philosophical aspect of our conversation. Sensible woman. And failure again. Alright, let's see if it gives me any tooltips to, there we go. So demonic possession will cost me 150 dark power, but I'm assuming by completing it, I will gain more than 150, so... Attempt to possess him with a demon, making him fanatically loyal to you. This may have repercussions upon your soul. Do it. Your liege, Duke Gerhard, has issued a decree calling for the expulsion of all unlanded Jews from the entire realm, citing various grievances committed by them against the crown. I see. In the middle of the night, I seclude myself in the room I have meticulously prepared for tonight's black magic. With every step of the ritual completed, the air in the room grows more and more oppressing until I finally sense I am about to unleash a being of terrible power upon my unsuspecting foe. Do it! Alright. Countess was not impressed. Oh yeah, I think I said I was going to seduce and then and convert. Oh, I need a new designated regent. Yeah, so this hasn't been that successful either. So first of all, let's take a quick look at the stats. I don't think we have a lot of really good people at anything, really. But you know what? I'm actually going to bring Oda in just because that's actually going to improve her her opinion of me. Let's see if there's anybody else. I don't think... Yeah, everybody's got some pretty heavy heavy opinion modifiers against me. So let's take a slightly different approach with these conversions. So Sillin. Alright, so we're first going to seduce, and then we're going to try and convert. I shall bring my seduction skills to bear on Sillin until I have her wrapped around my finger. Again, all of this is stuff we're doing while we're waiting for an opening on Trier. We don't really have access to any other kinds of claims. I suppose the other thing that I could try would be to find who owns this title. And I would have to take out... yeah, none of these are going to work. I sort of would have to take out some... I'd have to take out the line until my wife was on the spot. I actually need to think about that a little more often. But anyways, it seems like a really long way to go to get something which is like across the across the continent. Rituals failed completely, whether Rezio's mind proved too strong or due to some other reason. The entity did not manage to take hold of him. Rezio's mind is completely shattered in the process, however. How unfortunate. It looks like I failed the mission, so... Alright. Traveled far to attend the festive outing with Seelan. Unfortunately, half the court of Dukaya is here, so I am having trouble getting any time alone with my amorous quarry. Let's try flirt discreetly. I'm not quite sure. Yeah. That usually boosts the opinions, so... My last act of worship has been some time ago. I can still sense an inhuman touch upon my soul whenever I think about what I did. I have become a changed man. Possessed. Bonus to personal combat skill. Negative to attraction option, but bonus to other possessed. My wife Countess Maud has asked me to get rid of one of my courtiers who she finds annoying. On one hand, Maud might not be happy if I refuse her request, but if I fire the annoying man, people will feel that my wife has too much influence over my actions. I mean, my court chaplain doesn't like me that much either, but he's the best at what he does. And frankly, I don't care that this bishop... So... Tell her to stay out of it. Everybody hates me anyway, so... We'll work on that. I'm having an inordinately hard time pursuing my amorous interest. When will I ever find the time to travel so far? There is no rush. Especially because I do want to try and recruit her into the society if I can. Everything else is sort of roughly where it needs to be. Again, I need to consider the possibility of hiring mercenaries. So, in this case, we've got $12.99, and the castle will require $13.73. We currently have $11.97 once we fill out our levies. So we'll need another tactic. Oh god, I gotta give up another one. All right. As much as I love the 58-year-old lustful demon-possessed one, let's break up with her. So the idea here is that I want to be able to hire this mercenary army and basically be able to sort of sustain a siege on sort of the heaviest province. So in this case, 1320 seems to be the biggest one that we need to deal with. So in principle, I can get by with hiring maybe one of the discount mercenaries, so 150 for 964. My dalliance with Duchess Ilsa has resulted in a child. Fortunately, Duke Gerhard thinks little Alois is his. Excellent. Again, playing with fire on that one, but... So the catch here is that even if I go for a Barracks 3, it's good for getting the extra troops, but it does wind up costing me in terms of my wealth, and I will no longer be able to hire that mercenary army. So until I actually have enough of a reserve to not just buy the mercenary army, but to be able to sort of maintain it for the run, I'm just kind of building up this treasury, and you know, again, we may never see the CB come up, but it's a you know, it's in the end, it's basically the only thing that we can do with our current situation. I believe also with the expulsion of the Jewry, we don't even get the option of borrowing. Yeah. So again, we're in a little bit of a holding pattern, which is certainly not a... it's not the end of the world, although I know it does sometimes create a little bit... Oh! My liege's council is discontent. I've already tried to bring these guys in, I think. Yeah. So it does sometimes make for a little bit of a slow playthrough, but again, like I said, a lot of this is just about putting your plans into place and more or less ready. Like you just try and create the situations where you're able to take advantage of them where you can. So I don't know, like in the end, what is my Chancellor doing right now? Well, he's fabricating a claim. That's a less than a 3.5% chance a year. It's more likely that I infuriate the noble, but it's really the only option, or the most direct option that I have right now in terms of claiming territory. So I do what I can with that. Is it likely that I'm going to be able to use that money? No, because in the end, it probably is just going to, it's probably just going to be, I fail to fabricate a claim constantly. But it doesn't make any sense. The other way of looking at that is in that 1 in a million shot that it turns out, and I've just spent my entire amount on a training grounds or a barracks. Then I'm really, I'm really in trouble. Like I don't have any way of getting around that. So theoretically, my seduction efforts should change because it definitely is taking a lot of effort. But even then, I'm actually okay holding out. Oh god, I gotta give up more lovers. Alright. Oh, wait a minute. This was my liege. So... Ilsa doesn't have a claim. So Dietrich has less power overall, but he is possessed, which is a bonus for me. So what does he want? He wants to become king. Let me think. Break up with Sophie. There must be something I can do about the fact that this so his brother must have inherited something. Nope. So I mean, in the end, if I kill all of this stuff, it just winds up transferring to the king. Even if it's gonna take a long time to kill out that bloodline anyway. The kid dislikes me as much as dad, so there isn't much of a reason to work on that. But it does free up my spy master, I suppose. Let's think a little bit about... Alright. So there's not really anyone that I want to see killed yet. Unless there's somebody with like a claim. Well, actually, let's just take a quick look here. So if I were to... I don't think internet... Yeah. So let's just take a quick look. In the realm, not married. Interesting. All right. And I apparently can't seduce her. I wonder why. She wouldn't join. I think I... Alright, so I think I am actually going to try and ditch the wife. I could do dark divorce, but let's... And as a precautionary measure, I think I'm going to get my spy master to scheme. Oh, interesting. I can't actually... I can't do much about that. It would be neat to try and claim the territory, but I think what would happen is the Kaiser would crush me, so... You know what? I'm gonna say I'm gonna give up for now. Ripped pillows, broken furniture, shattered vases, my marriage to Maud has devolved into an unending torment of bitter arguments and fiery rows. I would be depressed, but my lover Ilsa just suggested that we retire to the countryside for a few carefree days of romance and passion. Again, always happy with bonus points. She doesn't have any titles to things, so doesn't really count for a whole lot, but... so, the duchy, claimants... Oh, hang on. So I could also try and kill the husband. Yeah, this would actually be interesting. Okay. So I gotta get rid of my wife anyway, but I think if we, take out this guy, this might actually be a way... I tend to let female thieves and bandits get away with lighter sentences than men. I might condemn a woman to a few months in prison, whereas a man might get one of his hands chopped off. That's how it should be. The Mayor Aldrich reacts to Count Fulmore's arbitrary ways. I didn't think anyone had noticed that I gave lighter sentences to women than men, but Mayor Aldrich was in favor of giving men more severe punishments than women. That's great. So yeah, so I think what we're going to try and do... Oh, let's change the children's focuses. Hang on. Whose kid is this? Oh, he's one of mine. He is the second, so let's teach him... struggle. So yeah, so I think we're going to slightly adjust the strategy. Actually, so it costs me monthly piety, which I think is already in the dirt. Well, let's just try it the traditional way first. Oh god, there's a lot of people who want to kill her. And we will... Looks like she's either good at intrigue or brooding, so... Alright. Ah, Maud is pregnant. Alright, well, this will be awkward. I'm also falling behind a little bit on the member score game. Yeah, so I think the strategy now is going to be to off my wife off... Ah, damn it! Alright, So much for that. Who else has a claim? Alright, so we'll Trudus, and she's actually available, so let's seduce her. I'll bring my seduction skills to bear on Wiltrudis, and I will have her wrapped around my finger. She will be mine. Again, not obvious that this is actually going to work, but I've never been good at relying on marriage ties. Jesse Quill, thank you very much for that, host. Won't give up just yet. Technically, I should be a little bit worried about the piety that's decreasing. That's just because, you know, it is technically one of the scores for the game, but we're sort of, the die is cast on that one, so. I sent Wiltruda a beautiful necklace that had a room covered with wildflowers. The gambit seems to have paid off, as I found a magnificent new saddle with her embossed seal in the stables today. Pretty clear symbolism, I'd say. After a lengthy discussion about the logistics of an upcoming ritual, my brother in darkness, Duke Rudolph of Swabia, stood up abruptly with a depraved grin splitting his face. Well, I'm bored. Let's head down to the town and have some fun with the peasants. About time. I'll bring my favorite thumbscrew. Wearing nondescript common clothes, Rudolph and I are slowly making our way to the town in amicable silence. As we pass a neatly kept garden in front of a cozy-looking house, I am suddenly overcome with hatred and revulsion. This family is clearly favored by the Lord. Keep going, they get to live for now. Or Rudolph, it's time to do Satan's work. The father of the family died last. Ah, the marvels he got to see first. Rudolph carved his wife's face off and pranced around wearing it like a mask, taunting and kissing the man while I boiled baby fat to make a flying potion. Finally, we constructed an idol of Belial from the dismembered bodies. You can say, burn it all, no one must know. We gain 100 dark power, and I gain Wounded Impaler, and we become close friends. Or leaving it would please Satan more. 200 dark power, Wounded Impaler, Blessing of Balberith, and the locals will be upset. Oh yeah, we are upsetting the locals. Predictably, the populace of Metz didn't appreciate... Jesus Christ. Didn't appreciate the glorious monument of tortured flesh that we left for them to find. In fact, they were so riled up that they've taken up arms against their rightful rulers. Playtime is over. I will show them real horrors. The peasants have risen up in Metz, led by a disgruntled former soldier. The rebels have the nerve to demand independence. Blasted traitors. Alright, well, I definitely can't deal with 5,000 troops in my backyard, so this might actually be the end of the playthrough, but let's see if... let's see if a king will help. The great and mighty Satan has given us so much, and now it is time to offer him a gift in return. And Satan craves a soul to serve him in the dark realm. And we have the perfect kind in mind. Capture and sacrifice a dwarf priest. Alright. Well, we will slow things down and we'll find a dwarf. I put the word out amongst my brethren in Lucifer's own. When an opportunity presents itself, the brothers and sisters in Provence will attempt to snatch Mayor Joan and bring him to me in chains. I'm really interested to see how this particular one turns out. I think this is just... we lose, but... my current occupation simply leaves me no time to chase Wiltrudis, or anyone else for that matter. There's no rush. Alright. Another daughter? Ah, excellent. Okay. And what we'll do now, Mike, there's no rush. And because they're winning, we're actually going to raise the levies just to seem like we did something. So, we got lucky. What's her story? I think we'll teach her etiquette as well. I usually just marry off daughters, so it's not bad to have some diplomacy. Managed to chance upon Wiltrudis alone in the kitchen when she came down for her usual late-night snack. We've talked and laughed for hours, and I can tell the attraction is growing. Hoping I'd read her correctly, I lean in to whisper in her ear. Now, this is a tricky one. She's patient, honest, ambitious, and shy. And I don't have that high of an attraction with her, so let's try the love poetry. It's hard to see somebody as ambitious as naive. Wiltrudis backed away from me, blushing and stammering something about being sorry before rushing off. The virtue is strong in this one. Okay, so we're still in the game, but we definitely need to build up our... Sir Wizio has some interesting ideas on how to improve the economy, so yeah, why not? Made sure to attend a minor event in Baden in hopes of seducing Wiltrudis, but despite my best attempts, she remains unimpressed. I need more practice. Still waiting on the dwarf abduction. And we are slowly getting to the point where I might actually consider upgrading one of my holdings. Oh, my fellows in Lucifer's Own have informed me that Mayor Joan plans to travel the realm incognito for a lark. Mingling with the common folk, he will only be protected by 2 loyal friends during his little adventure. A great opportunity to have him abducted, if I so wished. Prove the scheme. A group of hedge knights have come to visit Metz. Lymar has met with them to ask for my reply. So I don't want to lose a treat greedy. We will welcome them reluctantly. My competent brethren in Lucifer's Own managed to snatch Mayor Joan from his guards and bring him to me in a sack. Sacrifice! Bound and gagged, Mayor Joan is carried out of his cell and dropped into the cauldron. As your acolytes slam down the lid and lock it securely, you drop your flaming torch into the firewood stacked around the pot, setting it ablaze. Soon the water within will come to a boil, and another soul will be sent to Satan. Good sacrifices are in short supplies. Gained 200 dark power. Surely, I must have moved up. Yes, but not enough. Alright, so we've got a lock wrapped in silk. So 37, still not enough to make the move. So the Hedge Knights have participated in a minor tournament with the other knights in Metz. Sadly, one of the landless vagabonds has been severely injured. I can pay for some medication to send them on the way, or allow them to stay at the castle. I think we'll pay for that. That'll also get us out of the deficit for a little bit. Although again, before the end of this guy's life, he's going to have a huge negative. For piety. Alright. I still think quoting the love poetry is the way to go here. Aha! I sure know how to cajole women. Wiltrudis and I spent the night making sweet illicit love in her bed. I snuck off in the wee hours, leaving the court clueless, I hope. Chasing skirts can be a dangerous business. Jealous husbands, watchful parents, eavesdropping maids, little bastards. By the Lord, it's a wonder that I'm still alive. And so I've learned a thing or two about intrigue and have gained... I'm no longer an amateurish plotter, but I've moved up to a flamboyant schemer. This is actually good for my place in the society, actually. Or should be. Alright. Let's take a look at where the plot is. I mean, it feels like this should be going off fairly soon. I think the real question is whether or not I want to try the Dark Divorce, or if I'm willing to wait for more natural means. I'm at 444. What's it going to cost me for this? About 300, so I should probably wait for at least 500 before I build a barracks. Even then, I should probably be doing a training grounds more than anything, but the training grounds is just too expensive at this point. He's the evil, but he's not part of our little group. Looks like nobody's actually tried to approach him about this, though, so... Ripped pillows, broken furniture, shattered vases. My marriage to Maud has devolved into an unending torment of bitter arguments and fiery rows. I would be depressed, but my lover Wiltrudis just suggested that we retire to the countryside for a few days of carefree romance and passion. Splendid idea, and she's closer. All right. Dark Divorce it is. The time has come to end my wedlock with Maud, if not before God, then before Satan. Secluding myself, I pray and chant within the confines of the symbols I have prepared on the floor, holding a lock of Maud's hair in my hand. Only a few more spoken lines are needed to complete the ritual. Speak the words and seal her fate. Screams of panic and agony wake me from my sleep. When I reach my wife Maud's bedchambers and turn the red-hot doorknob, I find only a few charred bones remaining in my wife's body. Aside from the bed she lay in, the bedchambers were luckily completely untouched by the flames. Damn, I liked that bed. No! Alright, that's gonna be a problem. Invite to court. Ah, this'll fix it. It seems my dalliance with Ilsa has resulted in a child. Fortunately, Rudolph thinks the child is mine. Oh, they got married. Very nice. Good for him. Oops. Alright. So hopefully once she's joined my court... She's got a rash. Excellent. There we go. So I'm kind of curious what happens when the marriage works. Fate smiles upon me, my wife Wiltrudis is pregnant. Excellent, okay. So I'm mostly curious now. So I've got this wife. She's got a strong claim on Upper Lorraine. Alright, you know what? Looks like I'm gonna have to take out the bloodline after all. So let's start with the easy... oh wow, 400 dark power? I think that's worth it though. For some time now, my wife Countess Wiltrudis has been avoiding me. She has not visited my bedchamber for several weeks. When I've demanded to know why, she gives me nothing but feeble excuses. Today I overhear a couple of servants gossiping. They said Wiltrudis has contracted syphilis. Oh, I don't know if I want to gain the trait kind. But yeah, I do actually want her to survive. After being skillfully treated by the court physician Michael, my wife Ultrudis is feeling much better. Perhaps he is deserving of some praise. Yes. I'm kind of interested in finding out how this claim passes if she dies, because I think that just dies with her. Alright. So it looks like somebody's trying to kill my wife. Again, not what I want. I'm actually going to take a quick second while I do this. I'm going to bring up the CK2 wiki and just see how titles work. My liege, may you live in harmony and contentment. Your demand is just. My scheming was obviously misdirected. I hope that you will find it in you to forgive me. Okay, so she has a strong claim. Wiki says, claims come in two varieties, weak and strong. The difference between a strong and weak claim can be determined by the graphics, and mousing over a claim will indicate whether it will currently be inherited. Ah, okay. Can be inherited by a successor. On succession, strong claims are only given to children who are second and third or third in line in succession. Ah, so she needs to give me a kid, and I think she is past that point. Business from the local countryside have sent a representative to petition our support for one of the traditional carnivals. Just peasants. I'm pleased to hear that after a period of peace and shrewd management, the county of Metz is doing very well. People are happy and the tax collectors are reporting record intakes. Excellent. See, Lower Lorraine would actually be the better one to claim, and he's weak. So I think I'm actually in Lower Lorraine, so I think I wasted my dark power by trying to take on my liege. Well, he's got cancer, so that's a bonus, I suppose. Have a great one, Elkanu. Praise be Satan, the black magic has borne fruit. News has reached me that the withering clown Duke Dietrich II's recent illness. He is suffering from cancer, and I doubt he will last very long. May demons dance on Dietrich's grave. Okay, next up. So we're definitely in Lower Lorraine. Alright, so we'll burn the candle at both ends, I think. Also Tainted Touch on him. And am I currently plotting? Yes, but I'm plotting against the wrong guy, so... Okay. One of the bonuses is that I can actually betroth someone. So let's do a betrothal. She's 14. Ooh, at 25, Elsa vanished without a trace. Wait, was she one of my... I think she was one of my lovers. So hard to keep track. Oh wait, she was also a member of the Satanists too. It's funny. It's a shame. She was cute. No. Oh, and she's pregnant. Okay, cool. So I actually might have a I might have an heir that actually inherits that claim. Okay, so he's got a cough, not great. I think we go after the kids. How you doing, Paradox Gaming? Or I guess Docs Gaming now. Old wound is finally healed, leaving behind a pretty grotesque scar. Has the Kaiser left hiding yet? No, he's been in there for a while. Alright. Kriemhild. So I believe she will actually have a claim, but I don't believe I wind up playing as her until... Alright, praise be Satan, my black magic has borne fruit. News has reached me of the scheming glutton Duke Godfrey IV's recent illness. He is suffering from measles, and I doubt he will last very long. May demons dance on his grave. Understand completely, Doc's game. I'm actually probably wrapping up pretty soon myself, simply because I need to prepare for a French exam. Slightly better. Well, can't be worse than what I've already got. Let's see if I can recoup my wife. So it seems, at least with the first one, it doesn't seem that the relationship affects anything. Seems like that Gerhard von Supplingberg, spymaster for Duke Dietrich II of Upper Lorraine, has been sent to Lorraine to investigate rumors of a plot. Maybe he should be silenced before he finds out about my plot to kill Duchess Brunhild of Lower Lorraine. Might be necessary. And while I'm at it, uh-oh, my boss knows that I'm a member of a society. Let's try and recruit the king. Songs of Anguish. My nights are plagued by terrible nightmares featuring vile Engelbert Spanem Otrenberg, my rival brother in darkness. He howls and roars at me to the tune of infernal bagpipes, while Leviathan looks on, bellowing with laughter. I'm sure that Lucifer is sending me these demons for a reason. I must prove myself worthy or be discarded as a weakling. Such is the way of Lucifer's own. Invite Engelbert over for some fun. Or no dreams. Yep. No, that's definitely happening. As Engelman arrived for our meeting, my servants threw a sack over him and beat the cruel glutton into submission. He is now snugly stowed in a brazen bull that I had built especially for this occasion. Surrounding the bull are some crucified scum from my dungeon, drenched in oil. It took some work to find 3 genuinely insane musicians, but they start up their demented tune and the fires are lit underneath the bull. I lean back and realize it was all worth it. As soon as the first bellows start issuing forth from the bull, I order the human candles lit. I close my eyes and hum along with the infernal choir. My nightmare is conquered once and for all. These are the pleasures that await us in hell. 200 dark power, and I gain the trait poet. Okay, so that alone is worth playing the buying the oh god. What is this box doing on my desk? Let's look inside. The bright white skull gleaming like a jewel. There's a note. I really enjoyed the plank you pulled on me the other night. Good thing I wasn't actually in that bowl. But have you seen your wife Wiltrudis lately? Your old friend Engelbert. Engelbert! Jesus, that's such a good event. Alright, well, so much for my schemes. We believe it would please Satan greatly should Prince Bishop Nicola fall into depravity. See to it, and you will be greatly rewarded. All right. Corrupt the priest. Failure might tarnish my reputation, as if it could get any worse. Alright, so I do have an opportunity to marry again. Let's just take a look and see who's got claims on things. Not a whole lot of stuff that I want. Okay, now she does have the claim, so let's actually arrange the betrothal with, does my heir have Volmar? He's 9. Honestly, I think it's actually not a bad, it's not a bad shot, though. Well, she also has a claim to lower... Yeah, actually. That's weird, though. Hang on. Kremhild has a weak claim on Lorraine. They both have weak claims. I mean, it technically is our best shot, so... Hey Maka, how are you guys doing? Guys, I will warn you, I'm actually going to be wrapping up relatively soon because I've got, I do have quite a bit that I need to do. Meeting with Kaiser Ernst, I made sure to only cautiously question the absolute power of his almighty God. Regretfully, it seems that my words only irritated my acquaintance. From the steely look he finally gave me, I should probably steer clear of him for now. Okay, actually, next thing I should do... So again, not a lot of great claims that I can really push through. Yeah, they're all weak claims. Um... All right, let's take a different approach. Oh, she's betrothed. To me? Let's find like one of my youngest. Yeah, he'll do. No. Political concerns, prefers a little matrilineal marriage. No, that doesn't work for me. All right. No person lives a life entirely devoid of sin, and neither does Prince Bishop Nicola. I just have to find some traits in his character that I can build on. I can turn his guilty pleasures into vices. I'm sure he's not quite as virtuous as he pretends to be. Let's try and knock down one of his good traits. No, it's not a problem. Again, I don't take attendance here, so I'm perfectly happy to have you here for a minute or for an hour. Again, it's been a little bit of a slower paced playthrough anyway, so glorious Count Fulmar, peace be with you. I've decided to accept your suggestion of a betrothal between Hywilva and Fulmar. So do I sit on... I don't think there are a lot of claims that I can get through this. It's like, where's Lodi? It's Lombardy. I mean, I just don't really think any of these are exactly going to... I just don't think any of these are exactly going to give me the edge that I need. Yeah, it's not gonna work. Alsace might work, actually. All right. It's almost as if Prince Bishop Nicola works hard because he has been taught to, and not that he believes he should. I should show him that it is all right not to be a slave to hard work. I shall write the invitation and hope that my ploy succeeds. I think there can be to Petty. It's more of a... I think it's a little bit more of a question. Okay, excellent. So we're gonna have to wait a while for this thing to come to fruition, but it's not like we have a lot of alternatives at the moment. I think I am at a point, though, where I can upgrade my holding. Despite my best efforts, one misplaced word was all that was needed for Prince Bishop Nicola to take offense to my suggestion. He stormed out of the room indignantly, and what's far worse, he outed my supposed wickedness to everyone. Oh no. I'm going to assume that this has failed. Nope, I can still try it. He hates me, but we can still try it. Try and turn the pleasures into vices. Thorough investigation has revealed that Prince Bishop Nicola rather likes his gold. I wonder if he's a gambling man. Shall I write the invitation? I hope the ploy succeeds. Or beseech Satan to empower me. Yeah. I need the big guy in on this one. Alright, now this is going to be the one who inherits everything, so because we're going to be playing a line of Satanists, I actually want to make sure that... I want to make sure that... Or, actually, hang on. Is this Folamar? Oh god! I picked the wrong one! Damn, kids look all the same. I guess this is Ulrich? Radbot. Rowdy, willful, haughty. Let's do Pride actually, because I think that'll turn him into a tricky one. During our games of chance, Prince Bishop Nicola struggled more and more to hide his fondness for the gold coins on the table. With some well-placed words, I managed to make him come to terms with his greed. Letting Nicola win most of the games ensured he left both thankful and high in spirits. Satan will surely bless me. Prince Bishop Nicola's opinion of Count Fulmar changes by 75. Freed my depravity. The things I do for Satan. Hang on, how did this not... So, I have to give this up? Because I corrupted him. I mean, I failed once, but... Maybe we'll try corrupting again? Yeah, we'll do more vices. Right, and I was going to improve my my holdings, so... I do think... I think the barracks is the better call right now. Again, Satan is most helpful in these cases. It seems that liberating Prince Bishop Nicola from his virtue had unforeseen effects. Having finally discovered what he has missed out on these years, Nicola has sunk headlong into utter depravity. I am Satan's greatest servant. Or not. So apparently he still hates me. Can hit him again. I'm pretty sure that this mission's just not going to work, though. We'll try one more of these. He does, from the first one, though, for corrupting him. Yeah, he's definitely settled. I just can't really make anything of that, though. Alright, so I think the next things we need to do are start... Let's start finding some people who can potentially inherit some lands that we want. And we'll focus on... We're actually going to go really specific here. Let's focus on Verdun. So she wants Metz. I wish I could do more than one assassination attempt. Duke Gerhard of Upper Lorraine has told me that has been told that I'm a member of an outlawed society. Oh, well, I mean, he's a punk, so... So I actually have to kill 2 more, and then I think that just goes up to the king. Permit me to remind you of your obligations and duties as my sworn vassal. To form conspiratorial faction would be in direct violation of these. I must ask that you promise never to do so. Sure. Doesn't mean that I renounce Satan, though. So I'm slowly climbing up the ranks. I've been hearing this voice telling me, I've been hearing a voice for some time now, but I couldn't quite place it. Then I felt its presence fill me and did not feel divine. Random. I gained the Voice of Satan trait. Sat in contemplation of my life and wondered why it was that I wasn't getting my due. Then a voice whispered to me. I know it to be Lucifer, who told me that it was my right to have a throne higher than the clouds and over the earth. He's right, and I gained the trait Proud. Which, again, does wonders for me in the society. Alright. I really don't have any luck on I really don't have any luck on trying to find some people to marry into these titles. I am a fan of Philosophy Docs Gaming. Is there anything in particular that you're thinking of? Alright, so what happens if I do end up... Oh, 3,000 troops. I get my ass kicked if I declare independence. See, the catch here, too, is if I declare independence, then that just opens people up to try and take my titles. I think my best bet here, so I either need to get a CB on a weak holding, or I need to find a way to play with the marriages to sort of move my way up. Alright, so we've got Peasants' Revolts. As soon as I came to pick up Amelie to help me out cutting down some trees, she starts complaining. Apparently she has a nasty stomach ache. Indolent brat, I'll show her. Amelie apparently has pains in her arm now after I grabbed it and cannot use it to cut trees. Hopeless. Are there any Canadian branches of philosophy? Like in Australia, you discovered we have Australian realism. Oh good God, what's happening now? My nights are plagued by terrible nightmares featuring the vile mayor Wulfgear of Chesterfield, my rival brother in darkness. He howls and roars at me in the tools of infernal bagpipes, while Pythias looks on, bellowing with laughter. I am sure that the devil is sending me these dreams for a reason. I must prove myself worthy, or be discarded as a weakling, such is the way of Lucifer's own. Invite him over for some fun. As Mayor Wulfgeat has arrived for our meeting, my servants threw a sack over him and beat this miserly lecher into submission. He is now snugly stowed into a brazen bull that I had built specially for this occasion. Surrounding the bull are some crucified scum from my dungeon drenched in oil. It took some work to find these three genuinely insane musicians, but as they start up their demented tune and the fires are lit underneath the bull, I lean back and realize it was all worth it. As soon as the fire bellows start issuing forth from the bull, I order the human candles lit. I close my eyes and hum along with the infernal choir. My nightmares conquered once and for all. These are the pleasures that await us in hell. But he isn't listed as dead, so who is dead? Ah! What is this box doing on my desk? Let's look inside. It's a bright white skull gleaming like a jewel. There's a note. I really enjoyed the prank that you tried to pull on me the other night. Good thing I wasn't actually in that bowl. But have you seen your son full card lately? Your old friend, Mayor Wolfgeet. My opinion of Wolfgeet changes by -500, and I gain the trait Lunatic. Satan has demanded another soul to aid us in our glorious mission. Bewitch Limar and make him a loyal servant, willing or not. Please see to this matter at once. Alright. Can't recruit, so... I could attempt to abduct him, but let's use the powers. So Docs Gaming, I believe there are, I don't know if they're called like Canadian so-and-so, but I think a big philosophical figure in Canada is John Roston Saul. But I don't know, like I'm usually a little bit more driven by the ideas. The source of them isn't as big for me. In the middle of the night, I seclude myself in the room, and I have meticulously prepared for tonight's black magic. With every step of the ritual completed, the air in the room grows more and more oppressing, until I finally sense I am about to unleash a being of terrible power upon my unsuspecting foe. Do it. How old are we? 40? I see her flit past out of the corner of my eye, naked and red-haired, giggling, the nymph who lives in the garden, always teasing me, never showing herself clearly. What must I do to win her heart? I can say, the magnificent old rosebush. She must be the spirit. Enter the rosebush professing your love, or wait, why am I out here in small clothes at this hour? Oh, we got to embrace the madness. Have you had a chance to read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius? Yes, I have. I've read... So I know a little bit more about the Greek Stoics rather than Roman, but I have read Aurelius, Seneca. Who are some of the other Romans? I think those are the only two offhand. Yeah, we got to embrace the madness. When I staggered out of the rosebush, hours had passed, my head filled with carnal but vague memories. I am bleeding all over from the cruel thorns. The voluptuous dryad has exacted her price. Will I ever see her again? And I gained the trait Scarred. Amazing! As I sat and looked at the fish course, the fish spoke to me and reminded me that my neighbor's titles were rich and should be mined. A messenger from my lord the Leviathan. I absolutely agree. The ritual was a resounding success. Lightmar seems to have taken quite a liking to me and is now far more amenable to my suggestions. The unfortunate side effect is that he's become quite obviously insane. Exactly as planned. So I gained 200 dark power. So I really only gained 50 for that in reality, but definitely moving up in the world. So I haven't read the Book of Five Rings. I definitely know a little bit more. I definitely know a little bit more of Western traditions more than anything. Alright, so we finished our barracks. So we can actually do another one, it looks like. It might make sense to do the training grounds because it costs less, though, so... How are we levy-wise? 1350, so that did do a small improvement for us. Looks like we can also hire levies, but I don't think 137 is enough. Yeah, we'd exceed it, so... Indeed, to petty. It's actually slightly different. So dark power is one thing, but it's actually the member score that we're looking for. So Havel's got 5. Oh, whoa. So I guess the question is, so he's a friend. I believe part of his member score just comes from the fact that he's a high priest. However, I'm next in line, so I guess the real question is, do I... The servant dropped the meat, and the dogs immediately dove upon it. The waste angered me, but I held my temper. Then the voice whispered to me as so often before, "Why do you accept this foolishness? Yes, I will not be weak," and I gained the trait Wrath. You know what? Engelbert is small potatoes. I must be the high priest. And who can increase the plot power by the most? There's definitely some people who we can improve, but nobody I'd be willing to spend the money on, so. Alright, let's see if we can get something to happen out of this. Yeah, I know of Marx because of economics, but I would say I know very little about Marxist philosophy, and I know just a little bit more, I know more from does she have Verdun? I mean, I'm almost tempted to just go directly in and my lord, we've received news that Count Havel of Leitermitz. Oh, does he know I'm trying to kill him? No, seems like we're okay. So he's gone into hiding. Coward won't save him. I think we'll keep the pressure up. So there's a side of me that thinks, so she's got 2,600 troops. If we're gonna spend the money on mercenaries, I think we'll actually just go for broke. I think we'll try and claim Verdun, and we'll just make sure that we have a really big mercenary army. Oh god. Do I want to lose another kid? I've got plenty to spare. God, do I potentially want to lose a firstborn? Ah, you know what? We've got some of the same. Invite him over for fun. Oh, it looks like he totally did actually die. Threw a French over and beat the French windbag into submission. Okay, so he actually died. Another soul to aid us, bewitch Akoi, and make him our loyal servant. Alright, so I'm going to try something different on this one. Oh, interesting. So apparently there's already been an attempt to possess him. So what we're going to do here is we're going to attempt to abduct him, unless I can just straight up imprison him. 100% and... oh, screw my council. There we go. And we will induct him into Lucifer's own. Well, my guest Akoi has yet to understand the true nature of the world. The right methods of persuasion might get through to him. Not many survive the long journey to the truth, and few can bear it once it's revealed to him. But Akoi would be an asset to our ranks. Leave us alone, guard. Do not return until first light. Docs Gaming, I don't know an economist who would seriously have a conversation about trickle-down economics. I think so. What the idea here? Interesting. I have no wish to fight her whatsoever, but... Even when I held nothing back, Akoi refused to let the name of Satan pass his lips. If I had pushed him any further, either his bones or his mind would have given in. You will belong to Satan in time, as all will. So I think what people generally associate with trickle-down economics would be something known as supply-side economics. Now, the idea here would be that you can... So the most common graph that you will see, I'll maybe try and draw it with a cursor, but it's not perfect. So the most common graph that you'll see in like an introductory economics class is a demand curve. So pretend that the y-axis is the price. So the higher up the graph you go, the higher the price. And the x-axis is the quantity. So your demand curve usually is sort of this downward sloping line like this, or it could be a curve like this. So the idea here is as the price goes down, you generally buy more of it, right? Think about what happens like if chicken goes on sale as opposed to beef. You usually buy more chicken. And then you've got a supply curve, which is your mission demonic possession involving Akoi is no longer valid. Oh, he died under torture. Alas. So it wasn't really worth the reputation hit, but there you have it. You know what? I've got a few lovers. Let's see if there's anybody who's worth... So she's a lunatic. Oh god, that'd actually be kind of funny. Oh, and she's got a husband already, so... So one thing that you can do in macro, now again, this is really based, this is not like macro as you would practice it at a higher level, but basically you kind of model the whole economy. So if you consider this the demand for like all goods in the economy and the supply of all goods in the economy, it's got a similar idea here. Now, on one side you can say, okay, well there are, you can try and improve things by sort of affecting the demand side by trying to engage in sort of stimulus policies, you know, buy up a lot of goods or invest in infrastructure and things like this. And you can try and push this demand curve to the right. But generally what happens in that situation, you do get more consumption, but the prices of things go up, which is inflation. And so the idea here is that so this used to be the case where kind of every government sort of thought that, or maybe not every government, that's a little unfair actually. But sort of the idea was that people thought there was sort of this trade-off, which is, it's known as the Phillips curve, which is that you would have sort of a relationship. You'd have either high inflation and low employment, or, you know, low inflation and high unemployment. I saw a hairy star in the sky. I swear it to be true. 'Twas the color of blood, I tell thee. It was as if the Lord God himself was bleeding. It's an omen. So the argument here is that consider policies that will affect the supply side. And this is basically the number of goods and services that we can produce and consume. And if you stimulate the demand side, what happens if you move that curve to the right? Well, what you get is you get more consumption, but you get them at lower prices, which means that generally everybody's better off, right? You have efficiencies in the economy, people are making more money, or they're making the same amount of money, but it costs them less to obtain the goods and services that they want. And so the idea of supply side policies are to try and make it so that the conditions are in place so that people are able to, basically that genuine wealth is produced. Basically, we're able to do more with the resources that we have, the people, the machines, and so on and so forth. Now, what most people who talk about trickle-down economics, I think what they're trying to do is they're saying that if there are policies that, like, let's say a common one here would be generous, or something like lower taxes on the wealthy, let's say. The idea here is that the wealthy is going to invest that money. That money is going to go into into capital, into into different machines and whatnot. And what ultimately, what will occur is you sort of have this improvement in the supply curve. Now, so far as I can tell, this is not what happens. This is too simple of a story, as usually is. What are they fighting over? I'm curious. Upper Lorraine claim on Lower Lorraine. Oh, so they're just taking the duchy outright. Well, this is going to be complicated. So he's got 3,000 troops, he's just not using them apparently. But yeah, so the point on that one is to try and give... So I'm not going to try and advertise to you this is the way that people should be running things. Generally, if I hear supply side economics, I'm assuming that I'm talking to somebody who has political interest rather than economic ones. That may be unfair, incidentally, but it generally, that's kind of how these things have worked out. I think I need to be seducing, or I need to be, yeah, actually, you know what? Von Metz. Let's train her in etiquette. And seduce Brunhilde. Ooh, excitement happening in France. So what I'm trying to do is to sort of... It's easy to take a look at... let's try and recruit him first. I feel as if the Holy Spirit filled me, and just like the apostles of yore, could speak in tongues of many peoples, and the Holy Spirit gave me the power to express myself. The only problem is no one else can. I am negative 20 diplomacy. Alright. Disappointing. So I guess what I'm trying to do with the with this example is to try and motivate some of the reasons why people might make the arguments that they do. There is no rush. If you can try and sort of see where somebody's coming from on these issues, then that can give you a slightly more productive, slightly more productive conversation. So, for instance, if somebody's trying to say, trickle down to economics, if we, if we take care of the top, then the money sort of will diffuse down to those lower areas. I've often wondered why I bother about such trivial things. Belphegor keeps urging me to save my energy for what really matters. He's right, too. I've got all the sins! Oh, weird. So it looks like Khaled the Cruel is ahead of me now in sin. He's currently in hiding. You know what? Let's take on the... Oh god, he's gonna be dead way before this other guy. But yeah, so if somebody's making this claim... Is my brother. Okay. Seems my dalliance with Ragna has resulted in a child. Fortunately, Gottfried thinks little Alois is his. Man, I'm really curious. So, I guess it doesn't really say what my actual issue is, but look at that. Prolific. Every time you mention it to an economist, you get a really big cringe face. Yeah, because it's basically what it is it's so there's one of two things that happens. Either it's somebody advocating for trickle-down economics, which will, I wonder if I can use dark healing to cure me of my insanity. No, I don't have a medical condition, so it doesn't work. No rush. West East Francia. So Captain Bear, this is a different playthrough. There's the Holy Roman Empire and France. There's no Francia anymore. I mean, presumably Francia could come back, but I think somebody would take the title of Holy Roman Empire first. So, still say no rush. I think we might actually have to call it here, guys. I was hoping to do at least one more generation of this family, but it looks like I'm going to... I'm probably going to be waiting a while on some stuff to happen. At least I improved my lands. But yeah, so it's either they disagree with the policy or they suspect that the Holy Spirit left me and I felt lessened. Some cynics commented that I was finally sober, but they did not understand what the true love of the Lord felt like. I am saddened. No, Captain Bear, this is a different playthrough because there's a new patch out, so usually saves are not compatible with the other with new patches. But yeah, so basically this idea, the reason why you sort of see a cringing face is that either they think that you're advocating for it, or potentially that you're about to sort of give a straw man argument against economics. So it's not that economists sort of have this big book together and it's like, here are the things you have to believe if you want to be an economist. The idea is that there are some arguments in economics that just make sense. So for instance, there's a really wonderful proof by Kenneth Arrow, who died recently, called the impossibility theorem. And it has something to do with basically how you sort of aggregate up individual preferences into social orderings. And it basically says that there are a number of desirable features for such an ordering that are mutually incompatible. Basically, you can't have all of them. It's like non-dictatorship, independence of irrelevant alternatives, and why can't I remember? I always mix the three up. It's funny, I always forget independence of irrelevant alternatives, and the other one, non-dictatorship, independence of irrelevant alternatives, and I'm actually going to look this up really quickly. Oh, Pareto efficiency. All right. So basically, as long as you accept the premises of the argument, the conclusion immediately follows. That's how math works. That's what the point of a proof is. So the idea here is, like, so a lot of the free trade arguments that you say, based on very reasonable assumptions, the case for trade is a very strong one. Now, with that said, definitely a complete laissez-faire sort of picture is maybe trying to have it a little too easy. But the idea here is that generally what people are interested in, at least if they're interested in economics, is that they want sort of a chain of reasoning. And what you usually get when you have ideas like supply-side economics is you sort of have these slogans, which is like either you're for it and you're one of us, or you're against it and you're one of them. And that's usually why you tend to see a negative response to it, because in the end it's a little bit more interesting if you talk about, well, what can we do to increase total factor productivity? And I think generally, so somebody who would be opposed to it would say, it's like, well, what is the evidence that you have that this set of policies has produced increased overall welfare? And for somebody who is opposed to it, it's like, well, what specifically are you attacking here, right? It's like, what are you, Is it that you don't like people who like Ronald Reagan? Is it that you think, you think it's oversimplified? Because in that sense, I agree with you. But what specifically about it, like trickle-down economics, like, I don't, it's a little bit like saying, do you love your mother, right? Like, do I think that, having the wealthy play by a different set of rules necessarily creates positive outcomes for society? No. And I generally don't think, unless they're like a complete ideologue or they're really just playing devil's advocate to the hilt, I really don't think anybody truly feels that that's what's going on. I don't think that's what people are actually arguing for. Though you never know, because at this point, people seem to be willing to argue for anything. But that's, I think, probably why you're getting those cringy faces. All right, the fish is continuing to give me more intrigue, which is good. I'm back on track to becoming the High Priest. A lot of influence in this society, by the way. Paramedics 52. Man, everybody's got high influence. Current occupation, yeah, still working on the seduction. Really, Docs Gaming? Because I've always thought the opposite. It seems that generally people on the right wing tend to, at least historically, have supported it, whereas people of sort of a liberal bent, more on the left, it feels like they tend to. It sort of feels like they tend to support more distributive policies. So ones that, I mean, inevitably, right, an expanded social programs, which generally means taxation, and generally that taxation comes from the higher end. So I'd actually be quite surprising. I'd be quite surprised if you'd see. And of course, for the flip side, right, conservatives tend to like smaller government, at least in principle, and so it's a little bit easier to see them opposing policies that would result in higher taxation. Word is spreading that Shia missionary Hassan Ishaba has founded a religious order known as the Hashashin somewhere in western Persia. Using trickery and guile, the mysterious cult of trained killers has seized control of a mountain fortress of Almut and converted it to their headquarters. Already a string of violent murders can be traced back to Hassan's devoted and fearless disciples. These hashish smokers are harmless. Great intrigue, but I'm kind of wasting it right now trying to kill the High Priest. You know what? Let's toss a quick Tainted Touch his way. Oh! Diarrhea, fever, vomiting. Never know what hit him. And we collected a special tithe, so we might actually be on our way to improving our buildings again. I don't know, it might just be, but a Marxist friend of yours extremely for it, was conservatives that you speak to are heavily against it. It seems like my black magic was successful, however the result was not quite what I imagined. I had hoped a filthy vegetable count Havel would be stricken by a mysterious case of pox or plague, but as it turns out it only gave him food poisoning. At least I hope he suffers. Of course I gotta do it, invite him over for some fun. As Atham arrived for our meeting, my servants threw a sack over him and beat the groveling unbeliever into submission. He now snugly stowed into the brazen bowl that I built specifically for this occasion. Surrounding the bowl are some crucified scum from my dungeons drenched in oil. It took some work to find 3 genuinely insane musicians, but they start up their demented tune as the fires are lit beneath the bull, and I lean back and realize it was all worth it. As soon as the first bellows start issuing forth from the bull, I order the human candles lit, close my eyes, and hum along with the infernal choir, my nightmares conquered once and for all. These are the pleasures that await us in hell. Oh! The day we have long awaited is finally upon us. The time has come for the child of Satan to enter this world and lead us to a new era of power and glory. The choice of the lucky mother falls upon you, honorable priest. Glory to the deceiver. Slow rush. God, this will be great. I'm actually totally going to do this to her. Unless I have a daughter coming of age soon. I don't understand why she's in seclusion. Oh, it's because she's with Duchess Beatrice. She's 14, so it'll take 2 years. Let's see who's in my court. Oh, great. Unholy impregnation. Oh, okay, let's actually try recruiting her first. I think it's more because that, in theory, the money is kept in the pocket, will be more likely to hand it to the right areas, maintaining... Yeah, I mean, so... I mean, obviously, Doc's, your friend's beliefs are their own, but that's actually quite inconsistent from what my experience has been with. I'm gonna take a quick minute and see if I can bring my daughter into the family business. Oh. All right. Let's find somebody in the society. Ooh, got a bunch of old ones. Yep, she'll do. Or not. It's a little bit harder than I thought. God, 48% chance. Okay, let's attempt to abduct her then. The alternative is demonic possession, but we'll approve the scheme. Oh, for God's sake. Can't even imprison my own daughter. Why doesn't she like me? Tyrant, attempted... Ah, yes. I mean, in the worst case scenario, I do the demonic possession, but... There we go. Induct. Omega Spanhilda has yet to understand the true nature of the world. The right methods of persuasion might get through to her. Not many survive the long journey to the truth, and few can bear it once it's revealed to them. But Spanhilda would be an asset to our rank. Leave us alone, guard, and do not return until first light. My competent brother in Lucifer's own managed to... Okay, yeah, we got that. So hopefully I don't kill my own daughter for this, but... The cost of knowledge is great. Spanhilda is not the first to have suffered much for it. At least they did not succumb, but rose to see it eye to eye. The light no longer blinds you, dear sister. Alright, you receive news of your marshal's activities in Metz. It appears he has been spreading ill words about your rule, encouraging disloyalty amongst the peasantry. Ill tidings, but I still need him. Well, do I? Yes, I do. Okay, so. Lizleo likes me, so we will end the plot. We will release her from... We will release her. Unholy impregnation. Abjure Spanhilda gladly accepted my proposal. I could never imagine a greater honor, brother, she told me as we were about to begin the summoning. Kneeling on the floor and holding each other's hands, we began to chant the magic words. As the stranger entered, I squeezed her fingers and departed. And so it is done. And now we'll find her a husband. Can we do better? Duke of Yeland. Yeah, we can... maybe we can't. Okay, so the 13-year-old count, or, well, 13, but Barcelona is at least closer, so let's try... Actually, you know what? The better question is, who has the stronger army? Should actually probably just get rid of her. Oh, hang on. She's a sister? Where the hell is she? She is my niece. All right. But I guess it doesn't really matter who I marry her off to. Yeah, this is the best option. Hello's come save. Yes, we got a copy of this actually before before the release, but this is now obviously the full release version. Paradox is very kind to give me a key for this, so I'm actually... Iglick, thank you very much for the follow. We're actually just wrapping up soon, so apologies for disappointing everybody, but I'm probably about an hour and a half past when I originally wanted to stop this, so... So yeah, here I'm actually just kind of... Presumably she's been impregnated? Sees my dalliance with Ragna has resulted in a child. Fortunately, Gottfried thinks little Engeltraud is his. I've definitely fallen off the seduction wagon, but blessings upon you and your house. Your demand is just. My scheming was obviously misdirected, and I hope to find it in you to forgive me. Alright, let's see what's happening with this mission. Yeah, so we did choose her. I guess we need to wait for the thing to come to term. Oh, Khalid the Cruel is overtaken me again. Although again, I don't think he's going to survive. I mean, it's always just a couple of ticks between the two of us. And he's like 72, I think. Yeah, he's nowhere to be found now, so... I kind of want to run out the clock on this thing. I mean, again, we're still waiting on a CB to generate, and it's not at all obvious that this will it's not at all obvious that the aim to get Verdun will come through. We've got the money to finance it. Just started playing CK after watching Quill play this new edition. Oh, that's great! Great news then, Iglik. I don't watch a lot of Quill 18's Crusader King stuff. Not because I dislike it. It's just, you know, I kind of like discovering stuff on my own. But I tend to find... So I actually wound up learning this game on Cast. But I do know... I think one of the things that's... that kind of keeps people from adopting it is that this game gives you so many different ways of... Uh-oh. Well, Spawn of Satan didn't work out. That was actually probably because we... It was our effort to inductor. But yeah, so I think because the game just throws so many options at you all at once, it sometimes becomes difficult to sort of know where to go.
I would never want to belong to any club.
Nero Carey, thank you very much for that follow as well. No rush. Let's see here. This is a feature I really like, by the way, that they added all these little icons to indicate where you know, where the points would go. It looks like he doesn't have a lot of really great traits. Let's actually put him towards intrigue. Steep learning curve, not as bad as Dwarf Fortress. Yeah, so, I mean, if you played Dwarf Fortress, you kind of already know what's going on. I'm presuming here that you even want tips, but one of the ways that I've always looked at this game, so one of the things that's really attractive about this game are the maps. And in the end, this game will give you, I mean, the thing that people find so difficult about it, I think, is the fact that it gives you so much information. And the question here is just cutting that information up in a way that is meaningful to you. I mean, obviously it depends on what you want to accomplish too. This has been a little bit more of a just playing around kind of one, where I'm playing as a succession of Satanists trying to corrupt the Holy Roman Empire. And I mean, I suppose it's an indication we're at 68% influence. The current leader is in hiding, but he's at age 57, so presumably he'll die sooner or later. But yeah, I mean, so the idea here is, like, I'm not going to have a very high score by the end of this. And if I can expand my holdings, so much the better. But it's always hard to start as a count. And actually, it turns out that Metz is a really weak start, even for, like, starting as a count in the Holy Roman Empire. So I'm doing the best now because I have the opportunity to, I'm fairly young and I'm sort of next in line. I'm also trying to... Oh, Niroki, would you like the keyboard? Do you normally tell people how to play games? I appreciate the follow, but not at the expense of not being able to play the game myself. But yeah, so Iglik, what I was talking about, kind of what I was talking about before, the way that I normally make sense of the game is to... I kind of start with my character's portrait. I get a rough idea in terms of the stats. If you have something like the Way of Life expansion, then you've got, or the DLC, you've got some options in terms of both your personal focuses as well as your ambitions. So, what you can... Oh, the trigger phrase. How cute. well, please keep your just mentions to yourself. Let's leave it at that, maybe. Because what it sure looked like was you were trying to tell me to play the game, how to play the game. So, once you've sort of gotten an idea of your character, the biggest stuff that you'll get out of the a screen like this is the sort of an idea of your army levies, and of course you've got equivalent screens on your neighbors or something like that, right? So Pfalz has slightly more levies than us. Obviously, if I take on the Duke of Swabia, I'm going to get my ass kicked pretty quickly. So this, again, focusing on the individual is sort of your first step in terms of figuring out sort of the lay of the land and what you can do. Take 10, Niroki. There's only so much I can try to do to give you a clue. You're welcome to participate in chat, but I am kind of in a zero tolerance mood, seeing as I'm already an hour and a half past when I wanted to finish. The next thing that you can try and do is, once you've sort of finished exploring your individual character's traits, and I mean, obviously, if you like doing the role-playing stuff, so like I said, we're trying to, we're trying to be a succession of Satanists corrupting the Holy Roman Empire. And of course, once I became a lunatic, there were opportunities, like it was a 10% chance to drop the lunatic trait. You can't really look at a lot of situations and say that this is going to help you become a master at the game, or you're going to maybe, that this is necessarily going to improve your bloodline or anything like that. But clearly, when we're playing a line like this, you kind of want to embrace the madness. I mean, we should have been killed for being a member of the satanic cult long ago. So the other thing that you can do is, once you've finished looking at sort of your individual view, you can take your council, and this is actually why starting off as a count or a duke is such a benefit, because you only have one piece of territory that you need to focus on. I'm sure probably Quill's already gone over the new things that have been added in the Monks and Mystics DLC, but one thing I really like that they did, the societies kind of help you. I mean, obviously I've been sitting here waiting for the Casus Belli forever. And so what the society allows us to do is sort of just, take our time, do stuff in between. It sort of breaks the monotony of waiting for certain events to happen. And the next thing that they did is that sort of while you're idling, all of these far left options are going to be just sort of the wait and see sort of designs here. So you don't even necessarily need to micromanage everywhere around your realm anymore. But what you kind of notice if you approach the game this way, if you focus on your individual title and then you sort of move out, so you are the most important person in the world, so you want to focus on yourself first, and then you focus on your council, you're slowly opening up sort of your world and what you're paying attention to. It's almost a little bit, I don't know if you've ever seen an old movie, The Mask of Zorro, but when he's training the next Zorro, he has kind of this sequence of rings, and he kind of says, as you progress in your training, the ring gets smaller and smaller, bringing the world in closer to you, bringing you closer to your revenge, and so on and so forth. It's a little bit like that, which is once you start... Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm definitely not fun. As you can see by breaking into fights with people who just follow. But yeah, I find that's, if you're able to, it's like anything, like whether you're doing a programming problem, whether you're trying to solve a math problem or crack a philosophical argument, like generally if you can slice it down into its atomic parts, you're going to have an easier time manipulating things. So what am I doing right now? Well, aside from these role-playing things like, trying to gain as many Satanists as possible, I'm trying to expand my territory. So I said, okay, well, originally my goal was to try and take on Trier, which right now is actually sort of gobbled up. But I am actually trying a little bit more of an ambitious approach. So in this case, they're currently at war. Their maximum levies are about 27. I think they're actually at their maximum of 2,700. So this is more than I can take on right now, but I've got 1,400 here. And then I've also got a fairly decent war chest. So if it comes down to it, if I have the opportunity to seize a duchy by force, I just hire mercenaries and I finish the job. So for 225, I mean, the monthly cost is maybe a bit too high here, but I'm able to sort of eclipse their army. And so in the end here, right, what's the chance that I'm actually going to get a claim on the duchy? Almost none. It's 3.38% a year, but I'm at least setting myself up for that possibility. Again, there's other things that I'm doing, like I've been riding everything in sight, and I've got a lot of kids which I can then sort of marry off, and maybe I'll wind up getting a claim that way down the road. But basically what I've been doing over the course of the playthrough, sort of considering each individual goal in isolation. And the last tool that you'll find very helpful once you're finished kind of your individual control. So you've got your direct control through your actions. You've got your indirect control through how you assign your council. But the last thing that you can focus on is you can say, it's like, what is the piece of information that I need to achieve my goal right now? And what you do there is you actually focus on the map. So let's say I had more than one territory and I'm going to collect a tax. If you take a look, collecting taxes is going to increase the love to use your children model. Yeah, it's a great one. So in this case, the local tax modifier is a percentage-based modifier, right? So if I want to maximize my revenues, I'm going to want to put my steward in a territory that has the highest revenues, right? So Metz has a tax income of 60.2. That might be after the modifier. But obviously, like, let's say I owned Metz, Luxembourg, and Köln, right? So all of these look fairly wealthy, right? Well, if I mouse over under realm, it's just going to tell me politically who owns this. If I go on terrain, it's only going to tell me, what the battlefield looks like. If I go to the economy tab, 60.2, 61.6, or 66.3. So in this case, it would make sense to put my tax collector in Köln, or my steward in Köln, because that's where I'm going to maximize my revenues. Obviously, I only have Metz, so that's going to be my, the one place that I go. And again, any of these tabs will do it. Why would I want de jure duchies? Well, maybe to decide whether or not I want to try and seize the duchy of Upper Lorraine, which is my current liege, or if maybe I want to try and leapfrog that and try and take the duchy of Lower Lorraine, because that will probably mean I at least have one title within it, but potentially maybe I can get Verdun, or maybe I can wind up taking Trier, and then being able to take those individual territories, I might be able to usurp that title because Metz is already a part of the duchy of Lower Lorraine. Again, if the goal is how do I become the Emperor of the Holy Roman Empire, well, probably you go click New Game, you click Holy Roman Empire, and you play the Kaiser, right? If I want to play it like this guy, it's not going to be a direct path. Maybe I need to have, a family member who marries their way up. Or maybe I take advantage of a rebellion and, there just happens to be this claim that generates. There's a lot of different paths that you can take to something like that. And the way that I've personally found it most helpful is to, take the torrent of information and turn it to my advantage. And basically what that means is to say, it's like, in the broad goal, what do I want to do? If I want to take over the world, well, that means I need a big army. And if I want a big army, that means I'm going to have to have lots of lands. I'm going to have lots of improvements. So, I could make a bigger army by improving, my barracks or something like that. I have the money for it, but I'm also saying that the fact that there's a positive probability that I might want to do an attack on Verdun if, for whatever reason, my, my chancellor has a 1 in a million shot of taking that title. I'm kind of keeping this in reserve because in the end, I have a fairly healthy balance. So once I get to like 500 or something like that, actually that might not be enough. Yeah, at 500, I'd probably only do one of these. But you kind of see where I'm going with this, right? Like, you sort of have, okay, what's the immediate step that I want to take towards this larger overall goal? And the game is largely about sort of unified island current goal. Yeah, so in that case, it depends on where you're starting, but like, let's say, so if I was in, I have no idea how to pronounce this one. I'm in a little bit of trouble here if I'm playing this guy, because I've got 1.83. This guy is probably a duke. Oh no, 142. So actually it's possible I could take this guy on. But again, probably the first thing that you'd want to look at would be de jure duchies, because if you can, unite 3 counties and turn that into a duchy, one of the things that's going to help you with is your succession laws, right? You're not going to wind up distributing all those counties to your heirs. You can always risk it and just have one heir, but of course, if they die too early, then you're in trouble. Maybe at some point you say, okay, you know what, becoming the King of Ireland is the goal. I think I have enough resources. So like, obviously this guy's got to be careful. His wealth is 210, which is okay, but he's also got some fairly strong opponents. So he may not necessarily be able to achieve his ends. But yeah, again, you want to shoot, a couple generations out. Because the thing that's really interesting about this game is it's one where you sort of put in all the pieces of the formula into sort of these long-term gains. And I mean, sometimes you just get lucky. The game's fun just for the emergent stuff that comes out of it. But I've always really enjoyed the fact that, there's a plan that I put in place like maybe 2 streams ago, and it finally comes to fruition, a couple of weeks later. So it's a lot of fun. That's actually really funny. Like, I had one where I'll maybe finish on this story because obviously I'm not going to get much more gameplay done. I'll unpause. So, did I ever get a chance to play this online? A couple of times, Docs Gaming. Always offline though. So, like, one of my most memorable playthroughs, I legitimized a bastard. The bastard I actually had from having an affair. So I had an affair with my son's wife. The bastard came as a result of that. I legitimized the bastard. Bastard grew up, murdered my son, and inherited the kingdom. You can't make that kind of stuff up. And again, I mean, there's two sort of reactions from... You just don't fucking learn, do you? I don't even care what came after that message. If you want to go on with this trigger warning bullshit, you can go to another channel. In case you haven't noticed, the rest of us are having a good time without you. So, play the long game, play the really long game. But yeah, so like, I think you can get this certain type of player who's like, okay, you know what? You have to play the game right. Why would you legitimize your bastard? That's just going to cause problems with your son. You could have killed your dynasty that way. But, I've gotten quite a bit of mileage in terms of selling people on Crusader Kings 2 by telling that story, right? I don't know. I like this sort of stuff. So, all right, I'm assuming that she's going to come... De jure? Fair enough, Megalonyx. I'm not, I don't know how... Oh, Melee Mage. I'm actually just wrapping up for tonight. Thank you, though. Yeah, apologies. My pronunciation of German names is also terrible, so God help me if I go into most of these. But yeah, apologies, Megalonyx. You've had good luck with bastards stealing your dynasty when you couldn't get your wife pregnant. That's funny. Yeah, sorry, Melee Mage. I'm like an hour and a half, or more like an hour 50 minutes past, and I need to be up early tomorrow because there's a ton of work to do. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave it at that. Obviously, Nero Carry, I don't know what your deal is. If you want to hang out, you are welcome. Everybody who came here for Crusader Kings 2, we do this at least every Monday. Paradox has usually been pretty good in terms of... fashioning us with keys, so I do the best to sort of section off a day for their titles. Crusader Kings obviously had the most recent release, but we'll probably do Stellaris after this, or maybe Hearts of Iron 4, depending on when the next DLC comes out for that. But I think Stellaris is probably due with the next DLC. Because I can only do a short stream this week, I might try and do something later on, but in reality, we're at a crunch period in work. And I've got a French exam on Wednesday morning, so if I do any Makeup Crusader Kings 2 stream, that'll probably be on like maybe a weekend Thursday at the earliest. Best way to find out, of course, is to check Twitter. I'll usually announce if I'm doing a I'll announce if I'm, if I'm doing something a little bit off the schedule. But you can be sure that somewhere between 7 and 9 o'clock on Mondays, that's Eastern time, we'll be back for some Crusader Kings 2. What's my time zone? Doesn't say in the info. Yeah, it's Eastern Standard Time, so it's currently 1:50 for me. But yeah, it's a very wide range, just because if I need to get some like errands done or something like that, I need to do that straight after work. So yeah, not a problem. And thank you very much for the follows, guys. Normally CK2's become a little bit stagnant for follows, but I do appreciate it. I will caution you guys, this is a little bit late for me because I do work early in the morning. But as always, if you guys like what you see, feel free to hang out. If you don't like it, completely understand. Let me take a minute. I don't normally host Crusader Kings 2 stuff on Mondays. I don't actually know the streamers that well, except for the big ones. So if you guys are looking for more Crusader Kings content, if you guys are looking for more, Crusader Kings content, I'll encourage you to click on the game icon. I think it's at the bottom of the screen now. But I will encourage you guys to stick around and check out the guy we're going to be hosting called Kilgore Trout. He is a member of the GOG stream team. Thank you for the follow. I unfortunately decline to acknowledge the name. So he's playing Anvil of Dawn. Kilgore Trout's a really great guy. He is another Canadian. He's in Ontario, same time zone as me. Tends to stream a little bit later as well. A couple of reasons to watch him. He's actually a member of the GOG stream team. So if you check the info below, obviously I'm an affiliate with them as well. Does a lot of classic games. It's usually a lot of stuff that he actually liked playing when it first came out. Really friendly personality, and his stream has grown really rapidly. It's easy to see why. I love hosting him at the end because I know it's always reliable for I don't know, keeping people interested. It's definitely not going to be Crusader Kings 2 style stuff, but I mean, if you guys found me looking through Crusader Kings 2, you definitely don't need me to, to tell you who to go to next. Oh yeah, that'd be really cool, Megalonyx. But yeah, unless it's on weekends or that, like especially I'm going to be doing a training thing at work, which requires me to basically be up at 8 in the morning, or not 8. So I have to be at work at 8 in the morning. So, and I don't perform well if I get like 6 hours of sleep a night. So I still have some reading to do. So anyways, I'm filibustering the end. So thanks a lot, guys. We will see you next time. And I hope you guys stick around for Kilgore Trout. He's a really great guy. And it's actually going to be the GOG channel that we host. So we'll see you next week for Crusader Kings, or we'll see you Wednesday for the regular stream.